Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to Newstos. So Xbox has been pretty busy to start the year off, especially with that Activision Blizzard acquisition. They have pretty much consistently stayed in the news all year long, and that does continue on today. They did reveal some financials for Xbox and some very impressive numbers for some of their premier releases. And yes, when I say impressive, I mean very impressive. So we're going to go over that one here in just a little bit. And then also a big Nintendo Switch game being Pokemon Legends Arceus. Its reviews did start to roll out, and I think that a lot of fans will be really happy about this one, whether they like the Pokemon franchise or not. It is sounding like this is going to be a great entry for newcomers as well as longtime fans, so we're going to go over that one here in just a little bit as well. First though, let's go and talk about a brand new game that was just announced that I think is going to have certain fans out there excited, and that would be for Kao the Kangaroo. Yeah, Kao the Kangaroo is making a comeback, and I know for a lot of fans they might not recognize this franchise, but Kao the Kangaroo does have some pretty loyal fans out there. This of course is a 3D platformer, and it might not be as well known as something like Mario, Banjo-Kazooie, or Crash Bandicoot, but it still did have some pretty loyal fans out there. I'm actually hearing specifically over in Poland, they absolutely love Kao the Kangaroo, so it is really nice to see this franchise once again return. And what's even better is that based off the trailer, this new game actually looks really good. To me, it does look like it's inspired by Crash Bandicoot 4, both in terms of its level design as well as with its art, and I view that as an overall positive thing. As I've said on this channel several times, I do think that Crash 4 is one of the best 3D platformers that I have played in a very, very long time. I absolutely love that game, and because Crash Bandicoot's kind of unique in terms of 3D platformers, to see another game kind of be inspired by that, yeah, I am absolutely all in for something like that. Now, of course, we got to see if they can actually pull it off, but based off the trailer, I do think that it looks good, and it is really nice to see the 3D platforming genre just make a bit of a comeback here in recent years. We have been getting a lot of high-quality 3D platformers as of recent, and hopefully Kao the Kangaroo will continue that trend in 2022 as it is set for a summer release. It will be heading over to the Nintendo Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, and PC this summer. Now, speaking of franchises making a comeback, we also have another game to talk about here, and this is one that I know fans have been asking for a very long time, and that would be a new Crysis game. Crytek did officially confirm in a teaser trailer that they are indeed working on a fourth Crysis game. Now, they didn't show any gameplay or anything like that, and it does sound like that this is early in development, so don't expect this to release anytime soon. It's probably still years away, but at the same time, just hearing that we will be getting a new Crysis game, yeah, there's a reason to be excited about that, especially with the modern hardware on the market right now with the Xbox Series X, the PlayStation 5, and then modern PC hardware. I mean, Crytek here could try to push the boundaries once again with Crysis 4, and I also think it has some potential in terms of game design as well. It seems like the Crysis games have always toyed around with the idea of open-ended environments, but they could truly make Crysis 4 a completely open-world game. Now, I'm not always a big fan of open-world games, but I do feel like Crysis could fit very well into that type of environment. We did see Halo make the jump over to open world, and I think that we could end up seeing something very similar here with a new Crysis release as well. Let me know what you all think about that, but beyond the visuals and game design, the original Crysis trilogy, I mean, these games were just good sci-fi first-person shooters. So the fourth installment does have a lot of potential to capitalize on some of the gameplay mechanics, including the nanotech powers, of course, the visuals and the game design. And if you haven't played that original Crysis trilogy, do keep in mind that they did re-release these games on modern platforms, and even all these years later, they have aged pretty well, and it just goes to show you how gorgeous these games have always been. Next up, let's go and talk about Xbox, as they just continue to have a lot happening this year, and this time it's for their earnings report. Microsoft did post their earnings report, which includes, of course, Microsoft's gaming division, and, well, they actually broke a new record. Yeah, it just seems like the Xbox Series this generation has been a resounding success. We'll kind of get back to that here in just a moment, but let's go and take a look at the numbers here, because this is really impressive stuff. Now, this was posted by Daniel Ahmad over on Twitter, but as he pointed out, Xbox's reported revenue for the 2021 calendar year was $16.28 billion. Now, that is key because it actually broke their previous record set in 2020. So it only took them 1 year to beat their previous record, which goes to show you the growth of Xbox here as of recent. Now, the total gaming revenue was up by 17.7% year over year. The content and services revenue was up 8.8% year over year. And then the hardware revenue was up 63.3% year over year, which makes sense with it being a new console and everything with the Xbox Series. He does estimate that the Xbox Series has sold over 12 million units, which does continue to outpace the Xbox One. And once again, I mean, this just kind of shows you the growth of the Xbox Series this generation. I mean, if you take a look at last generation, there was a real question at one point on whether Xbox had a future or not. And then, as we all know, Phil Spencer talked to Satya Nadella, and he convinced Microsoft to truly invest into the gaming division, and really the rest has been history. They once again have an ultra-powerful console with the Xbox Series X. They've acquired a bunch of studios. They've invested in Xbox Game Pass, and I think by this point, you can't really question Microsoft's commitment to the Xbox division. They have done such a great job at turning things around over at Xbox, and I really have to applaud all of their hard work. And that's one of the things about this, is because it really seems like Microsoft, the company, is genuinely happy with the Xbox division right now, as they even during this conference call actually talked about official player numbers for some of their premier games, being Halo Infinite and Forza Horizon 5. Microsoft doesn't usually talk about raw numbers like this, but they did reveal that Halo Infinite has already been played by more than 20 million players since it launched. And then with Forza Horizon 5, it's already been played by 18 million players. So that is very, very impressive stuff. In both cases, it is the best launch in each franchise. Halo Infinite has gotten off to a fast start, as well as Forza Horizon 5. And I think this really speaks to the Xbox ecosystem. I mean, first off, these are great games. I've talked about that before on the channel. But beyond that, there's a lot of ways to play these games. You can buy them physically or digitally on Xbox consoles. You can buy them on PC through the Windows Store or on Steam. Then you have Xbox Game Pass. You have PC Game Pass, and you can even play them through xCloud. So there's a lot of ways to play these games, and it seems like that strategy is working out very well for them. And I think the success here definitely shows that. So big congrats to Xbox on just getting things turned around this generation. It is really nice to see this type of success that they're having, and it's also really nice to see Microsoft just fully commit to gaming. It feels like in the 20 years of Xbox's existence, they haven't exactly done that until recently. And I mean, even with the Xbox Activision Blizzard acquisition, I mean, yeah, Microsoft is fully committed to gaming right now. Now, actually, speaking of that Activision Blizzard acquisition, there has been some questions when it comes to this, especially in regards to Call of Duty. What is going to happen with the Call of Duty franchise going forward? Now, as we've already talked about, we're not going to get any kind of official confirmation on this topic until that acquisition is completed. Microsoft is not legally allowed to talk about this situation until that acquisition is completed, and, well, that's going to be a very lengthy process. We're hearing it's going to be between 6 to 18 months, so yeah, you might as well just go ahead and buckle up, because there's going to be a lot of speculation about this topic over the next year. Nonetheless, though, we have gotten a little bit more information regarding the Call of Duty franchise. This is according to a Bloomberg report, which claims that they have talked to people familiar with the deal, and they say that Activision is committed to releasing at least the next 3 Call of Duty games on PlayStation even after the Xbox acquisition. However, after that, it becomes a little bit more hazy. Now, I know some people are going to kind of throw out that Phil Spencer statement that was made about Call of Duty, but as we've talked about, and really the whole game industry has talked about by this point, that message was a little vague. He doesn't really confirm anything there, so yeah, again, there's a lot of questions regarding the Call of Duty franchise, but as Jason Schreier pointed out here, if what his sources are telling him is true, that means you should expect at least the Call of Duty 2022 game, Call of Duty 2023, and then Warzone 2 to release on PlayStation consoles, regardless of when this acquisition is completed. After that, though, in 2024, that's where things will get interesting, because then we're really going to see what Xbox's true intentions are when it comes to the Call Call of Duty franchise. From that point forward, I assume that's whenever PlayStation's marketing deal does end for the Call of Duty franchise, and then Xbox will be free to do what they want with Call of Duty after that. So that marketing deal does seem to be an important factor here. That's probably why Sony was so quick to come out and say that they expect Microsoft to uphold any type of contractual agreements prior to this acquisition, and that very much does appear to be the case. And even this story here, it lines up with some of the things that we were hearing, that marketing deal was going to last until 2023. So if that is indeed the case, then that's probably why we're already hearing plans of them committing to releasing the next 3 Call of Duty games for PlayStation, which actually does include Warzone 2. That's an interesting one because that is a live service game, which means Microsoft would support that game on PlayStation throughout the generation. They already do that with the Elder Scrolls Online, so they wouldn't really have a problem with that or anything. But just like the Elder Scrolls franchise, the next big mainline Elder Scrolls game, that will be exclusive to Xbox. So after this marketing deal ends and these next 3 Call of Duty games releases, Xbox is free to do what they want with the Call of Duty franchise, and that's why they're saying things are a little hazier after 2023. Now, once again, though, we are continuing to hear that Microsoft might be doing away with those annual releases for the Call of Duty franchise, which I do view as a great overall positive. But even though Xbox can't come out and confirm things right now, we are starting to see some information leak out online from these anonymous sources, and that includes a possible deadline on the Call of Duty franchise over on PlayStation. After 2023, again, Xbox is completely free to do what they want with the Call of Duty franchise. Let's go ahead and talk about the Nintendo Switch here for a moment, though, because they do have a major game releasing in just a couple of days, which would be Pokemon Legends Arceus. It does release on January 28th, and there has been a lot of excitement, a lot of hope and optimism surrounding this game. For the first time, Pokemon Legends Arceus takes the Pokemon franchise more into that open world direction, a Breath of the Wild Pokemon game, as you will. And this has been something that Pokemon fans have been dreaming about for years. Now, technically, it is a spin-off. This is not a mainline game. But even though fans have been dreaming about a game like this, there has been some questions about this transition. Will it end up being a good game? Because it does look quite different. And, well, the good news is that reviews have started to roll out today, and it very much does sound like a great game, whether you're a newcomer to the franchise or if you've been playing Pokemon games for your entire life. Pokemon Legends Arceus does have an 86 overall score on Metacritic, and the things that I continuously hear about this game is that it is just vastly different than previous Pokemon games. I'm hearing it's different, it's more mature, it can actually be more difficult at times. Of course, it gives you more creative freedom, and they even reworked and rebalanced all of the moves in this game. I'm even hearing the story is good, so I mean, it really seems like Pokemon Legends Arceus is a really good game, and I know not everybody's in love with the art style per se, but in terms of gameplay, it seems like Pokemon Legends Arceus is a really good game. I don't know if it's Breath of the Wild, but I think what we can all kind of say is that it is a breath of fresh air. I think this is a welcome addition to the Pokemon franchise, especially with so many fans asking for this franchise to kind of evolve and change, and it is good to see Game Freak experiment a little bit more with the Pokemon franchise. I'm not saying that this is going to replace the mainline games, I'm not saying that at all, but if this game is successful, and I do imagine that it is going to be very successful, we could see them maybe make another game like this in the future. Maybe you can have the mainline series, and then you could also have the Legend series, or maybe we could see some of the ideas that come from this game be incorporated a little bit more into the mainline series. All of that kind of remains to be seen, but what we do currently know is that it does seem like they made a really good transition into this more open world Pokemon game, and it looks like it turned out really well. Again, it does sound like it's going to be a completely different game. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a competitive side to it, but in terms of single player content, it seems like this is the Pokemon game that a lot of fans have been wanting for years. Let's go ahead and move on over to the poll of the day, though. There has been a rumor here recently that Xbox is working on another collection and going to kind of give it that Master Chief Collection treatment. So I wanted to ask you all, if Xbox gives another franchise the Master Chief Collection treatment, what franchise would you like it to be? And well, the winner here was Gears of War with 40%, second place was Fable at 26%, third place was The Elder Scrolls at 21%, and then fourth was Banjo-Kazooie at 10%. I'm not gonna lie to you all, it actually hurt my soul that only 10% of you all voted for Banjo-Kazooie. That was very hurtful, to say the least. I would have liked to seen it get some more votes, but at the same time, I do understand Gears of War winning this one. I've said this before on the channel, my 3 favorite games of all time would be Gears of War, Pokemon, and Uncharted. Gears of War is such a big part of my life, especially that original trilogy, and I do think that this is a franchise that deserves that Master Chief Collection treatment. Outside of Halo, the big Xbox mascot has always kind of been Gears of War and Marcus Phoenix, and something that I have heard a lot over the years is we should get that Marcus Phoenix collection, and I've always been in agreement. Just like Halo, Gears of War has a good single-player campaign, and it's got an excellent competitive multiplayer, very unique at that as well. And I think for me, the possibilities and the potential of this is what has me most excited. See, with the Master Chief Collection, it wasn't just a simple collection of games. They did go back and remake Halo 2 with those updated visuals, and if they could do something like that for a Marcus Phoenix collection, as you will, then you can possibly remake Gears of War 2 or maybe even Gears of War 3, which is actually my favorite in the original trilogy. If you can go back and remake those games with modern visuals, that could be big. That'd be a great way of bringing back the single-player campaigns as well as the competitive multiplayer, which Gears fans absolutely love. There's really no replacement for the Gears franchise, but if you could bring those games back with remakes, yeah, that would make a collection like this a must-own experience. And of course, you also do have the other Gears games as well. You could include Gears 4, Gears 5, and then maybe even Gears Tactics, and of course, Gears Judgment, which, you know, that wasn't exactly greatly received, but nonetheless, you could throw it in there as well. Anyways, though, that's it for this episode, but if you liked the video, don't forget to bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Also, if you'd like to support the channel through Patreon, thank you for making this content possible. Peace out.